Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Socratic Circuit. Ever wondered why U.S. presidents can only serve 2 terms? Is it like a 2 strikes and you're out deal for the White House? Well, grab your popcorn because today we're diving deep into the fascinating story of presidential term limits and the 22nd Amendment. So picture this, the United States, a brand new country. They just fought a revolution to get rid of a king. The last thing they wanted was another king, right? But when they wrote the Constitution, there were actually no term limits for the president. Yep, you heard that right. Theoretically, someone could have been president for life. So, if it wasn't in the Constitution, where did this whole 2-term idea come from? Enter George Washington, the OG. After serving 2 pretty successful terms from 1789 to 1797, Washington was like, "All right, folks, I'm out." He wanted to return to his farm at Mount Vernon, was tired of public life, and importantly, he wanted to set a precedent. He worried that staying too long might make the presidency look too much like a monarchy. And boom, just like that, an unwritten rule was born. For over 150 years, presidents pretty much followed Washington's lead. Thomas Jefferson reinforced it. Some, like Ulysses S. Grant and Teddy Roosevelt, flirted with the idea of a 3rd term, but it never really panned out. The tradition was strong. Fast forward to the 20th century. The world is a mess. You've got the Great Depression, and then World War II is kicking off. And who's in the White House? Franklin D. Roosevelt, or FDR. FDR gets elected in 1932, then again in 1936. 2 terms check. But as 1940 rolls around, with war clouds gathering, FDR decides to run for a 3rd term. And guess what? He wins. His argument? Don't change horses in midstream during a crisis. And then, if that wasn't enough, he runs for a 4th term in 1944 and wins again. FDR served for a whopping 12 years before passing away in office in 1945. He's the only president to have served more than 2 terms. Talk about breaking the mold. So, after FDR's unprecedented run, a lot of people, especially Republicans who had been out of power for a while, thought, okay, maybe this unwritten rule needs to be, well, written. And that's how we got the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution. It was proposed by Congress in 1947 and officially ratified by the states on February 27, 1951. So, how does it work now? It's pretty straightforward. You can't be elected president more than twice. But here's a little twist. If a vice president takes over for a president who leaves office, like if they resign or pass away, and serves more than 2 years of that president's term, they can only be elected president once on their own. However, if they serve 2 years or less of that term, they can still be elected twice on their own. This is sometimes called the tenure rule, because theoretically, someone could serve up to 10 years, just under 2 years of someone else's term, plus 2 full terms of their own. All right, time for some trivia. Fun fact #1. When the 22nd Amendment was passed, it specifically exempted the sitting president, Harry S. Truman. So he could have run again in 1952, but he chose not to. Fun fact #2. Dwight D. Eisenhower was the first president to be term limited by the 22nd Amendment. He was super popular, and some think he could have won a 3rd term if allowed. Fun fact #3. There have been many attempts to repeal the 22nd Amendment. Ronald Reagan was a vocal critic, and members of Congress still introduce repeal resolutions, but none have ever gotten close to passing. Today, the 2-term limit is a firmly established part of American politics. It ensures a regular rotation of power and prevents any one person from accumulating too much influence for too long. But it also means a popular and effective president has to step down, even if the public wants them to stay. This is often called the lame duck effect in a president's second term, as their power can seem to wane since everyone knows they're on their way out. So there you have it. From an unwritten tradition started by George Washington, to FDR's history-making 4 terms, to the formal 22nd Amendment, the story of presidential term limits is a key piece of the American political puzzle. It's all about balancing the will of the people with safeguards against too much power in one pair of hands. What do you think about term limits? Good idea? Bad idea? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you learned something new, hit that like button, subscribe for more historical deep dives, and ring that bell so you don't miss our next video. Until next time, stay curious.